Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Extra Gent Scents. Hope you're doing well. Perfect intro, 10 out of 10. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a fragrance from the house of Nishane. Technically, two fragrances from the house of Nishane. Fan Your Flames and also Fan Your Flames X. Now these are pricey boys at full retail. Very pricey, in fact. Fan Your Flames X for a 100 ml size bottle, which is this size right here, goes for $395 US. That's a good amount of change. And at full retail, Fan Your Flames for a 100 ml size bottle is a little bit less than that, but still well over $300, actually closer to $400. So yes, at retail, these are very expensive. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how these come across to me. We'll take a quick look at the presentation. I'll let you know if I think they're worth that price point or not. And I'll also let you know which of these two I personally like more. Now, I'll have these linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. Fan Your Flames X was sent to me some time ago by So Avant-Garde, so shout out to them. There's a link in the description to So Avant-Garde, and if you shop there, you can use the code Ashton20 for 20% off your order. They have a bunch of fragrances on there from a lot of different fragrance houses, not just Nishane, of course, although they do obviously have Nishane. So again, shout out to So Avant-Garde. Thank you guys so much for sending that one to me. Check them out in the description and use that code to save yourself a little money. Actually, a pretty good amount of money, 1/5 off. That's not too bad. Fan Your Flames, I've had that for a long time, but I'll have this one linked in the description too, so it's also down there. Let's go ahead and do the usual here. Let's take a quick look at the presentation. And to keep things moving a little quicker, we'll do just the full presentation on Fan Your Flames X, but not Fan Your Flames on this one. So here we go, there's a slip cover, and on the front of that slip cover, you have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, and your concentration, extrait de parfum. You have a little info on the spine of the box, or the slip cover rather, and then on the back, more information. Take the slip cover off, and you have your box. Have the name of the house and the concentration on the front there. Have a little pull tab. If you give that a pull, you will find inside a little envelope and a cutout that has cardboard here, not velvet or anything, just a hollow cardboard cutout with some little satin paper laid over top of it. But what is inside the envelope? Is this a ticket to Nishane Wonka Factory? Is that what this is? Oh no, it's not. But it is a cool postcard. Yeah, all the Nishane fragrances will come with one of these on the inside, which is pretty sweet. You have a little piece of artwork there. You have the name of the fragrance, name of the house. You have your top, heart, and base notes on there as well. And then on the back, postcard. I wouldn't personally use this as a postcard, but if you want to, you can. And here we have the bottle. You have a little plaque on the front there with the name of the house, name of the fragrance, and the concentration. And then on the bottom, you have a sticker with your badge code. The cap slides into place, but it slides in snugly. You can pick this one up by the cap, but don't, sling it around like a freak, or it'll probably, no, it won't actually. Look at that. Oh, yeah, it will. Don't do that. Just pick it up normally. You have Nishane on top of the cap. The cap is nice and heavy, feels good in the hand. And then on the original Fan Your Flames, I have a 50 ml size of that one. You have a colored plaque on the front there, blue instead of just the, X gold plaque that are on the X fragrances. You have some of the notes along the bottom of the original. And you have a sticker on the bottom and same cap style. Banged it on the desk. All right, let's do a couple sprays of each one, see how the atomizers work. There we go, solid. And here we go. Solid. All right, let's start digging in. Nishane has a good number of hyped fragrances. Probably the most hyped ones are going to be Hasavat and Ani, at least as far as the men's fragrances go. But just underneath those fragrances, those two, the top two, the big dogs, I would say is probably this one, along with maybe a couple of the other fragrances from the house. But if you were gonna break it out into like hype tiers, those two, Ani and Hasavat, are at the top, and this one is just right underneath it. And it's got an interesting note breakdown, an interesting idea as far as fragrances go, because it has coconut, rum, and tobacco as some of the main notes, the main players there. There's also tonka, there's some woodiness in here also, but at its heart, coconut and rum and tobacco. That's what people really hone in on with this one. And there's not too many fragrances out there that do that, at least not in the niche realm. There are some fragrances in the designer realm that have done things like that. Banana Republic had a fragrance, tobacco and tonka bean. Zara had rich, warm, addictive. But as far as the niche realm, not a whole heck of a lot of fragrances out there rocking up with that sort of tobacco breakdown. And now that I've brought those two fragrances up, I realize some people might think, well, does that mean this smells like the Zara or smells like the Banana Republic? It does not. Just talking about the idea of coconut plus tobacco, essentially. But I'll tell you guys, Fan Your Flames, for me, when I first got this in, was probably, to my own taste, one of the biggest letdowns from Nishane. And that's because it didn't immediately enrapture me. It wasn't, you know, one of those fragrances where the first time I smelled it, I thought to myself, this is fantastic. I'm gonna wear this all the time. It smells so good. And a lot of Nishane fragrances have done that for me. But this one did not. Yeah, it just felt, I don't know, like not what I was looking for, I guess. When it first hit my skin, I first got a whiff, I thought, you know, it's a little dusty in a way. The coconut wasn't maybe as fresh as I was expecting or wanting. And just the first time I smelled it, it didn't really do it for me. And so I sat it back up on the shelf and I kind of forgot about it. So yes, my initial impression of this one some time ago was not positive. But I will tell you that has changed, actually dramatically changed. And so if you are a fellow owner of Fan Your Flames who kind of wrote this one off, sat it aside, and didn't think about it anymore, I would implore you to reconsider. Kung Pao just entered my brain. If you know, you know. But yeah, I implore you to reconsider and go back and go ahead and give this one another wear. Because interestingly enough, when I went back to it, which is actually when I got this, I went back and checked this out again. It took this to have me go back to this. I smelled the opening again and I thought, it's actually pretty good. What? It's the same fragrance. Because yeah, it actually, to me, smells much better now. It still does have a little bit of a dustiness to it. It is a creamier fragrance than Fan Your Flames X is. It's a little bit heavier. The way the sweetness comes across is a little bit more syrupy, I guess, in ways, in the original. And yet, now I get the hype. Like, I get the hype. I don't even know how long after I finally got the thing. Probably like 2 years after I got my hands on this. Now I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm late to the party. This thing was released like 8 years ago, and now I'm like, oh, that is pretty good. So yes, you do get coconut with this one. It doesn't go like sunscreen type vibe though. A little bit dusty, creamy, definitely on the sweet side of things. You have some boozy warmth off the top initially as well. Again, not as fresh as I thought it may lean in the opening, but it smells really well done. The tobacco in this one also very pleasant as it dries down. You get a little touch of woodiness that comes out in the base there. There's oak moss as a note as well. And if you ever, get confused, you've got the notes right down here. Yeah, coconut, rum, tobacco, tonka, oak moss, Chinese cedarwood. How helpful. It doesn't really come across earthy in the dry down, but it does give a nice bit of depth. It does lean more masculine than feminine. I say that because this is a unisex fragrance, but certainly it's going to appeal more to guys than it is ladies as far as who's gonna want to wear that one. But ultimately, wear whatever you want. That goes for every fragrance. So this is one that for me, when I finally first got it, I was like, that's probably one of my least favorite Nishanes, just whatever. And then as time has gone now, at least since I have finally sprayed it on and worn it properly again after that span of time, I'm like, whoa, this is actually really solid. More of a fall and winter time fragrance, certainly, and we're heading into late spring, summer right now, so there's that. But yeah, I like this stuff, I like it. And the performance is really nice, what you would expect. It's an extrait de parfum. Lasts a long time, projects quite heavily. So yeah, fall, winter, more of an evening scent for me. But Fan Your Flames X, let's talk about that one. So the X fragrances that Nishane has come out with are flankers of the original fragrance. So there's like Ani X, Hassabat X, Fan Your Flames X, you get the drill. And they reimagine the fragrance in a different way. So it's not like across the board, they're all doing the exact same thing necessarily. They were actually done for the 10th anniversary of the brand, hence the name X, Roman numeral 10. So Fan Your Flames X, how does this one differ from the original? Well, this one off the top is fresher. And I'll tell you that the first time I smelled this one, which was before I started wearing them side by side and comparing, contrasting, all that stuff, I thought, the opening in Fan Your Flames X, much better, much better. than the original Fan Your Flames. So it has the addition of mastic in there, which gives it a little more freshness. It removes some of that like dusty edge that the original one has, a little bit of that creamy edge that the original has. It makes this one feel livelier off the top, and it's balanced out quite well. So you get that coconut rum and mastic coming together in a way that I feel like it's just off the top here, again, fresher, easier to wear, more appealing to more people. Whereas Fan Your Flames had to grow on me. Fan Your Flames X off the top, I was just like, oh, you got me. Really, really pleasant, really nice. And I like that little green little bit of something that the mastic brings. Now, as Fan Your Flames dries down, it takes on tobacco, just like the original Fan Your Flames. But in Fan Your Flames X, there's more of an ashiness to it. So, you know, like tobacco ash instead of a nice sweet tobacco leaf. That's how it comes across here. And so in the opening, it's like, you got me. And then as it starts to head into the mid, it's like, I'm not sure about this now. Because if you're gonna start it off nice and fresh, but still with a little bit of that sweetness in the undertones that's coming through when you first spray it on, that's really fine and good. But don't lead me into ash afterwards, like tobacco ash, because then I go, ooh, huh. Now, it's not just that, of course. It's not just tobacco ash or anything like that. There's also tonka in here, just like there is in the original Fan Your Flames. They actually have the addition of carrot and thyme, I believe, in Fan Your Flames X, which is intriguing, though I don't really pick up a whole heck of a lot that could be considered those notes. Certainly not a focal point, just something kind of along the edges that you can maybe convince yourself. You pick up a little bit of it here and there. And then Fan Your Flames X is not as sweet or warm in the dry down because the original Fan Your Flames has a good amount of warmth and sweetness that carries over and mixes together with the wood in the base and the dry down there. This one goes more woody, a touch of herbaceousness in there, some of that residual tobacco, which is not as sweet as in the original Fan Your Flames either, and then woodiness with like a faint hint of earth, a little bit more here. So essentially between the two, I would say that the opening of Fan Your Flames X is more appealing to me. I think that it's easier to wear. I think that it's going to be an opening that more people can wrap their heads around very easily. And not that the opening of Fan Your Flames is something that's like, oh, it's crazy, right? But just between the two, when you smell this one, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty easy going. But once you head out of the opening into the mid, and from the mid into the dry down, for my own personal taste, I think the original Fan Your Flames is better. I think it just has more of an interesting feel to it. I think that it has a really, sexy scent profile that works perfectly during cool weather, especially in the evening. And it's got a decent bit of uniqueness to it as well. Not that this one is devoid of that or anything like that, but just between the two, this one, again, to my own personal taste overall, it's gonna be the better fragrance. Oh, and performance. Fan Your Flames X is also an extrait, so both of these are extrait to parfums. As you might expect, Fan Your Flames X, for me, a little bit lower in terms of overall performance compared to the OG. I mean, it does have a little more of a fresh scent profile to it, so not really a big surprise there. But still, it lasts a long time. Really good longevity. Projection is very solid. Also, it's just this one a little bit better. And in terms of seasonality, this one, even though it's a little fresher than the original, still gonna be really a fall and winter time fragrance. Maybe spring also, like maybe you could go ahead and pull this one off in spring, whereas this one wouldn't match up quite as well. And I think this is kind of splitting the difference between daytime and nighttime use, so either one. Let's now turn our attention to the price. So we'll just say $400 for this one, $395, we'll just round. $400, if you use the 20% off code, that's gonna put it at $320 for a 100 mil. That's still really pricey. At that price point, I would look for other things. Again, so Avant-Garde has a lot of stuff there, so feel free to check them out and use that code, but for $320, I think I'd be looking to scoop up some better deals. Now, as far as discounter prices go, Fan Your Flames you can find for like $140. Now, discounters for this one right here, Fan Your Flames, you can get a 50 mil for about $90, sometimes a little less. That's a good deal, especially when you look at retail. For a 100 ml size bottle, about $140 from discounters. And this one at discounters, 100 ml, $210. This is newer, it's not discounted as much, so that's why you see that big price discrepancy at discounters. And at that price point for Fan Your Flames, I'm a buyer. Like if I had this and just dropped it and shattered it right here, I would buy it again. For my own personal taste, again, I would get a 50 ml because it's an extrait de parfum. It's gonna last a long time unless you just go crazy heavy with it, and I already own too much stuff. So that's what I would do. Between the two of these, I would go the original, I would go 50 ml, under 100 bucks. Fantastic performance, really good for fall and winter, a different type of tobacco scent. Ticks a lot of boxes. I would absolutely 100% repurchase this. This guy right here for $320, I did not. Oh, hi Mark. $210, I'd probably just stick with this one. This is not an awful scent, not a bad fragrance or anything like that. It's just, it inevitably has to be compared to this one. And I think that I like more what this one is doing, and it's at a lower price point with better performance. So I'm gonna go with this one between the two. That said, if you do want a fresher take on Fan Your Flames, this is really, really solid. The opening I think is better. It's just after the opening, I prefer the original. So there we go, Fan Your Flames X. Let me know what you think about these ones. Let me know about the price difference. Like if you would swing for this one, swing for that one, let me know. Thank you guys, stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow on another Farguns video. I'll see you guys later. Actually, no, probably not tomorrow. It's doing like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. Yeah, I think I'll do that.